For 25 years, a woman was imprisoned. She was raped, she was tortured, and within this time, she had 6 children for a captor. In 2008, she was finally able to escape, and only because one of the oldest surviving child that she had for this man needed hospitalization. Her captor was her father, and she was imprisoned in her own house, in the basement of her own home. Her mother claimed not to know anything about it, and until this child needed hospitalization, nobody knew that there was a whole family living underneath the same house. In 2013, 3 women were freed. They were able to gain their freedom from a man who had imprisoned them in a cellar in his house. One of them, by this time, had a 6-year-old daughter for this man. He had beaten them, he had tortured them, he had raped them repeatedly. He was sentenced finally to 1,000 years in prison, and he killed himself. In London, 3 women had been imprisoned for 30 years by a couple. It said that the street where they lived in was, just a regular street, but they had been in prison for 30 years. 1 British, 1 Malaysian, and 1 from Ireland. So there was no, they were not discriminating about who they took. By the time they were released, one of them, the oldest, was 69, a 69-year-old woman as a slave. One was 57. Today, I want us to chat about what I call the flesh market. It's really modern slavery, but the flesh market, because that's what is being sold. That is what is being used. That is what these people are trafficking in. Welcome to Coffee with Amy. When I was young, I had a favorite author that I loved. I loved this book, James Hadley Chase. He had one book called The Evil That Men Do. And that is so true. That title stayed with me. Because when you read certain things, when you watch certain things, when you hear certain things, for me, I am totally shocked. I want to say I am amazed, but not in a good way. I don't know if one can be amazed in a bad way. But the horrific things that we do to each other, that we do to other human beings, I don't know what is in the name of. And I'm not talking during war times, peace times. The things that people do to each other, it is undescribable. And I don't understand how we can live with ourselves when we're doing that to each other. In Australia, I'm saying these places where this happens so that you'll know that it's not confined to a certain area. The woman that was imprisoned in the house was in Austria. And that wasn't the first case in Austria. The 3 women that were freed were in America. The 3 young women that were freed were in America. The 3 older women were in London. And then in Australia, last year or maybe this year, a couple were arrested because they had imprisoned this poor woman for 8 years. She was not allowed to go out. By the time she was freed by the police, she weighed 40 kilograms. A 58-year-old woman weighed 40 kilograms. She was not allowed to speak to her family. She was kept in one room. She had hot water thrown on her. She was slapped. She was burnt with iron. She said, in fact, they found out she had diabetes that was not treated, and some other long stuff that I cannot pronounce right now. These are people that on the surface you think they're normal human beings, because these people cannot be normal. In fact, this Australian couple, if you see them going into court, I'll put all the links for this there. If you see them going into court and coming out, they were not fairs by anything. You would think they were watching somebody else being sentenced. They've been sentenced now. You would think they were watching somebody else being sentenced. How is this still happening? In this century, how is this still happening? What is going on? I've had different things happen or reading in the last couple of weeks, and it's still about enslaving people kidnapping people and keeping them for whatever reason. Not everybody, and this has shown me that not everybody, when we think of human trafficking, yes. So not everybody who has been trafficked has been sold to a brothel, because that has always been my, my thinking. They are kidnapping these women, either outright kidnapping or under pretext of, we found work for you somewhere, and then they go there and then they find that they have to pay their way out of this story, out of this situation where they found themselves now. But not all of them have been sold into the sex trade. That does happen. And 70% of the women that are in slavery 70% of the people that are in slavery are women. But not all of them are women. So that means 30% are men. They are boys. And when I say women, I don't necessarily mean adult. They're female. Maybe that's what I should say. They're females. How is this happening? And when I want to think, this is all stories happening in white land, I will actually say that, but it isn't. Last year or 2 years ago, my mom sent me a video. I don't know how true this video is, but after reading this story, after going through certain videos and reports that had been done, I think this might be true. This woman was begging anybody to help her. She had gone, I don't know whether she went willingly or not, but she had gone to work in one of these Far Eastern countries, and she is now a slave in this house. She's supposedly a maid, but she said the males in the house sleep with her. The father has sex with her. The son has sex with her. Basically, anybody who feels like having sex with her has sex with her when they want to, how they want to. She has no say in the matter. And she was asking for help. I'm not sure how anyone would have been able to help her, but I think after seeing that and reading all of this that I've just come into contact with, there might be some truth in it. And I wonder how she's going to get out of it. The BBC did a report. Again, I'm going to put a link there. They did a report of people being sold. It actually was for sale on Instagram. People being sold. There was a whole page of people being sold, just like the page also was selling cars and other things. I believe it's been taken down now, and it was also on Facebook. They were being sold. They will put the faces there and a number to contact, and you will call. The report actually did follow through on one. You need to watch it. And I thought, how? I mean, they have modernized it. So the people are not in physical chains. They're not lined up for you to check them as if they're horses that you want to buy, but their faces are there. And you see, then you go and check whether you want this person or you want that person. People are employing maids and then selling them over and over again to different people and making a profit from them. And they don't see them as a person. It's a merchandise that they are selling. And the people that are doing this are your regular people. They are your regular people. They don't look any different from us. But that's it. I think evil looks normal. That is what is most frightening about it. Evil does look normal. And that is it with these people. They look normal. I'm going to end with another. This one I know firsthand. I was invigilating an exam somewhere some years back, and there was this lady there who I was told had done the same exam like 4 or 5 times, and she had failed. It was a practical thing, and I could see immediately that she had failed. So I went to her, and to tell the truth, I was a bit upset when I was going to her, like, come on, if you're not going to even make an effort to pass this, because there was something I felt, come on, this is basic, should I be able to pass this? Then don't bother. So I asked her, what's wrong? Is it that you don't understand it? Is it a question of, I was just chatting with her, and she just started crying. Turns out she lives with this couple who are from the same country, another African country. So she's black like me. They came home at that time, told her there was opportunity for her in South Africa, brought her over, promised to send her to school, and all sorts of things. When they got here, they did send her to school, which is where I found her, but it was only to fulfill legalities. So she had a visa that said she was a student, but she had never had the time, the space to study, or even enough time to even come to class. She said she was up between 5:30 and 6 every morning, and she was not allowed to go to bed until everybody in the house had gone to bed. Might be 9 o'clock, might be 12 o'clock, but she wasn't allowed to go to bed until they had gone to bed. And this was a 7-day thing. Every day, 7 days a week, she was on duty, and she just started crying. So I said, why don't you go? Because by the time I saw her, she was in her 20s, and she had been brought down here when in her late teens, and she was an orphan, which is why she was so glad for the opportunity. They're taking her passport. And that's it. She couldn't escape. At least she felt she couldn't escape. And that's it. I guess when you're in a foreign country, everything is you're not used to, it's not a familiar environment. You're in an unfamiliar environment. You don't know the laws. You don't know who you can call for help. What do you do? What do you do? If you're in South Africa and you think someone might be trafficked, maybe this person is being trafficked, maybe this person is being used as a slave, not a maid. And I know that word is strong, especially here in South Africa, but that is the truth. If you know somebody is being used as a slave, if you know someone who you think might be trafficking, if you know someone who needs help to get out of being trafficked, there's a South African human trafficking hotline, 0800 222 777. 0800 222 777. I'm going to end there. I hope this has helped somebody. It's been Coffee with him. Even my coffee doesn't taste as well today. Even coffee knows that something is wrong. See you.